in today's video, I'll be going over the best sensitivity settings to achieve the best aimbot in Call of Duty Mobile, and these settings and sensitivity settings will work for the latest season and practically any season of Call of Duty Mobile thus far. I am super proud to bring you guys this video. I've put a lot of time and energy into really going over into detail what kind of settings that I use, how I format everything, my HUD, my sensitivity values, the specifications to every single setting inside of Call of Duty Mobile. Everything that I'm about to show you in this video is super important to achieve the best aim possible and for you to be able to flick on your opponents and get those 3 pieces, quadra kills and pentakills, and as well as going for nukes, because I drop a nuke every other video that I do upload. And like I said, this video will be the best sensitivity settings to achieve the best aimbot in Call of Duty Mobile. It's practically so OP that people are going to think that you're cheating inside the game, but when in reality it's just pure raw aim and skill and talent. Without further ado, guys, let's get on straight into the video. All right, guys, so starting off with talking about my settings, we are going to go over the controls really quickly, which is going to be the first section. So I do play on advanced mode and I am on a custom layout position, and obviously if we click on the custom, you can see here how I like to have my assault rifles, SMGs, shotguns, LMGs, sniper rifles, pistols, and marksman rifles set up when it comes to the shooting. And obviously I use the ADS to shoot button, which is obviously more convenient for me. Now this is obviously going to stay consistent across the BR mode as well as the zombies mode as well, in case if any of you are wondering or are considering about which mode to use when playing COD Mobile. Moving on to the second section into basic. Obviously you have your main points of interest here in terms of the settings. I'm just going to go over a few of them really quickly. Obviously, number 1, first and foremost, you have to have aim assist on. That's pretty explanatory, and it's also mandatory for every single Call of Duty Mobile player. There's no benefit to having it turned off. You want to have quick run from prone on, fixed R fire button. That's basically if you're playing right claw and you are shooting with your right index finger, you would want to have that on. Unless you're a left index finger shooter, you would probably want to turn that off. Fixed virtual joystick display position on. Continuous grenade throw on, quick weapon switch on. Obviously we would like that. Right fire button for fixed perspective. That allows the fire button, like whenever I'm placing my finger on the shooting button, my finger is not going to affect my thumb while aiming, so that way the device recognizes that there's 2 fingers on the display instead of only recognizing 1. The ADS button for rotation on, perspective teammate on, which is really important because you get to see your teammates through walls. Not many people have this on, and it's really good to have some depth perception in the game, because let's say if your teammate does die from somewhere, you can kind of see him through the map or through walls, or just anywhere that you feel like it's behind an object, and you'll have an idea of where the enemy is going to be. And I would rather have slide hint on. That's always making sure that like whenever I have the ability to slide, I can slide no matter what. And also we have the mythic weapon projection, which is also pretty cool if you're using mythic weapons. It's just for inspection of the gun. Moving ahead towards the damage number, obviously we got that 100. ADS mode, tap to ADS. Display left fire button, I do have that on. So slide while running, I have tap to crouch while sprinting. Always sprint, I always have it on because I don't play SMD, so therefore I'm not going to be ever walking really much. The only time when I'm walking is when I'm in the ADS position. Gyroscope I have turned off. So for FOV, I do play on a red magic. A lot of people have been asking me, yo, like what kind of FOV are you on? And also like what device do you play on? So I get that a lot in the comments section, and I want to make this very clear right now that this FOV is for phone only. 80 is my sweet spot. I think 80 is absolutely perfect. If you do want to play on the maximum, which is over 100, I really don't recommend it, because on the phone, like I said, enemies, like you want your enemies to be a little bit bigger than normal, so that way you are able to hit them more effectively. Because if you're playing over 100, right, things are going to look a lot smaller, objects on the map are going to look a lot smaller, and it's going to be a lot harder to contest with people who are on egg glitches. So 80 for me, and like I said, I play on a red magic device, which is a little bit bigger than a normal plus standard size iPhone. Is going to be more beneficial. Now for an iPhone, you probably might want to even turn this up a little bit more, maybe to 85, 90, but that would be the absolute maximum. My apologies. You would probably want to lower it to 70 or 75. Obviously normal FOV, 50 as well. I keep this for the first person shooter perspective. I keep that at 50 as well. Marker settings, everything is at 100 here. There's nothing to go over. Minimap settings, obviously I have at 90 to 100. I really don't need to see the whole minimap. I just need to see some parts of it. And obviously keeping the opacity at 100. And then obviously we have the minimap settings. These are going to be my settings: map zoom 82, icon zoom 50, and then obviously everything else is turned on except for tap and hold to view full map. And that's going to be it for the second section. In terms of the multiplayer mode, obviously the BR mode is pretty consistent throughout. These are going to be my BR mode settings as well. You can go ahead and just pause the video whenever you would like to see these settings as well. I'm just going to go through them really quickly here. And if you need these, like I said, just pause the video so that way you can copy them. And also here's the zombies mode that I have here just in case if anyone wants to see these. And that's going to be it for the second section. Moving on to the third section, audio and graphics. Keep in mind that, like I said, I do play on a Red Magic. So graphic quality, I do keep it at a medium because I want to play at the highest FPS possible for my device. And obviously I'm going to be playing on Ultra. And in order to play on Ultra, you need to be on medium or lower, which is really important here in terms of graphics to FPS ratio. And obviously for the BR mode graphics style, I keep it at standard. And obviously here's going to be some other BR settings like anti-aliasing, real-time shadows, realistic scope. And then for multiplayer, I have anti-aliasing, real-time shadows, and realistic scope. Zombies as well as sort of the same thing here on that. And I can also have these as well, and this is going to be that. In terms of my audio, I can talk about my audio. Here's going to be my audio volumes. This is kind of how I like to set it up. I don't like it to be too obnoxious, like especially with the game sound. So I really normally just have the music volume turned down and a little bit everything else sort of in the mid-range area to higher end IQ in terms of, just really understanding that intellectual sounds whenever things are happening throughout the map. And obviously here's going to be the rest of that. And then here's also going to be the effects. I usually like to go with an electric flash, and I do use the pink color at the moment just for that as the indicator so that way I can see it better. I probably might change that in the future, but I think the effect style, the electric flash, is the best one to use in terms of really identifying if your bullets are hitting your opponents or not. And obviously, the get hint color is black as well if I'm being shot at. I don't want like blood popping up my screen to be red and covering up. So I like it to be like black because that way it's not as obtrusive. And obviously the camera shake settings, I have that off in terms of like sound effect wise. Moving on to the fourth section, which is the at most important, is none other than the sensitivity. And this is where, like I said, a lot of people are asking me, why do you play with such high sense all the time? And I'm going to explain it more into detail here. So rotation mode, we do have speed acceleration. I recommend playing with this speed acceleration because, like I said, you're just going to be able to flick much better and lock on to people who are moving so fast that you would not be able to originally without fixed speed, right? So with fixed speed, your sensitivity value does not change at all. So you're going to have to really rely on your finger really moving super, super long distance on your screen to be able to flick towards people. I don't like that. I think it's absolutely weird to do that, and I think it's also a waste of time, right? Because you have to drag so far in the middle of your screen. With speed acceleration, specifically with snipers as well, and when you're playing with SMGs, you can just a little flick, a little slight fast movement of your finger will redirect your aim towards that enemy so quickly that you have at least a better chance to really lock on and land some bullets on them and maybe even kill them and turn on them. And this is why like so many people are able to turn on people really effectively, is with this setting being turned on. And that's why you see like really high-end sniper users have speed acceleration on as well, because they're able to do that. And, for phones specifically, I like 115 as the speed acceleration value. It's probably the best, I think, honestly, for me. In terms of the sensitivity switch, I like switch while opening to ADS. It just makes a lot more sense. It feels more dynamic and elusive, and it's a lot more comfortable for me personally. You can probably switch to gradually switch while ADSing, but I mean, it really depends on whether or not you're on a tablet or on a phone. But if you're on a phone, I highly recommend using switch while opening ADS. If you're on a tablet, use gradually switch while ADSing. Obviously, for the sensitivity presets, we're going to go with the custom because we want to set our own values. So for the camera sensitivity, we are going to be rocking with standard standard sensitivity 118, ADS sensitivity 182, red dot halo sensitivity 182, tactical scope sensitivity 36, sniper scope sensitivity 115. And obviously all these I haven't really touched. I've kind of left the same. And these sensitivities are going to be the exact same thing for the firing sensitivity. None of them are any different than the other, and they all remain pretty much consistent with one another. And obviously gyroscope, I have everything turned off, except I don't know why this is on. This should be actually all the way down to 0, and then these as well all the way to 0 as well, because I do not play with gyroscope. So I mean, if you guys were wondering about this, this should all be at 0. And then obviously for the gyroscope firing sensitivity, yeah, like I said, these should all be at 0 as well, because I do not plan to use any of them, and I do not play with gyroscope at all. So BR mode, right? Talking about BR mode really quickly. Everything else is the same: speed, acceleration, switch while opening to ADS, and then everything else really realistically the same here in terms of the camera and firing. Obviously, every sensitivity is duplicated. It's going to be a little bit different. And obviously, these gyroscope values, do not pay attention to any of these. These should all be at 0 because I do not use gyroscope at all, so they do not go into effect. And obviously for zombies, everything else is relatively the same except for my speed acceleration here, which is a little bit different, but I do have to put this up to 155 for that specific occasion because you are playing a lot. But if anyone's wondering for zombies here, this is going to be it. You can just pause the video. Obviously, here's the rest of my BR settings. If you want to wish to copy these down, these are also good to have for certain occasions. And obviously just copying these values here and having these specific check marks. And here's my vehicle settings, and that is going to be it. Now let's go ahead and take a dive, a deep dive into my actual HUD to end this video off really quick. So let's go to customize layout. Here is going to be the HUD. The HUD is really simple. It's a 4-finger standard phone claw HUD that allows me to do many things. It allows me to do actually everything I need to do as a high level playing COD mobile player. So we have the ADS to shoot button on the right, which is my main primary shooting button, and then I have my specialist on my bottom right, sort of in the middle there, where I can just use my right thumb to just click on it. I have my reload button at the bottom right, so I can, when I'm stopped, when I'm done aiming, I can just click that on the bottom right. It's just like muscle memory. It feels the most comfortable for me to reload the weapon. And then I have my joystick sort of in the middle left, or will horizontally more towards the right left of the screen. And then obviously my ADS button, my jump button, and my crouch button in a more triangular pyramid shape in terms of formation. Just allows me to be able to slide, jump, crouch, prone, and do advanced movement mechanics, all while pre-ADSing. And then obviously I have my mini map here. This is going to be, if I could just move this really quick, I have the mini map there with the scoreboard, as well as my settings and all these other menus here. And obviously I do have the rest of my guns and activities on the bottom below there. So that is going to be that for the HUD. Let's go ahead and exit this really quick. And I just want to say, if you have made it towards the end of the video, I highly appreciate you guys watching the video very towards the end. Definitely leave a subscribe and let me know in the comment section down below if this settings video was detailed enough for you guys to be able to, make your settings the best they can be. And I promise you, I will be going I'll be making more videos that will be going more into depth on certain areas like sensitivity, movements, and aiming. In terms of like that, and also positioning videos in the future. So I really hope this video helped you specifically, and that you learned something today. And also, if you're new, please make sure to leave that subscribe because it'll help out the channel a lot. And we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. And without further ado, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.